Hey everyone, welcome to Lo-Fi Yoga. Today's class will be Yin Yoga for the lung meridian. In Chinese medicine, energy called qi flows through you in pathways called meridians. The lung meridian pathway starts in the solar plexus region, moves up through the diaphragm, into the lungs, up through the collarbone, down through the arm, and into the hands. You may want to have some props for today's practice. You may want some blocks, or you could even use some pillows. If your shoulders are tight, you may want to use a strap for today's practice, but you can also use a belt instead. We'll start in a seated position. You can sit cross-legged or kneeling, whatever is more comfortable for you today. Sit up tall, let the spine be long. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. We'll be starting with a neck stretch. When you're ready, you can drop the right ear down towards the right shoulder, stretching through the left side of the neck. Try to keep the chin parallel with the ground so your chin isn't tilting up or tilting down. Check in with the body, see if any areas have tensed up. You can check in with the muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Notice if your jaw is clenching. On your next exhale, try to let any of that tension go. Keep the spine long with the shoulder blades rolling down the back. Try to keep the ribs knitting inward instead of letting them flare out. Keep the core strong and keep lengthening out of the lower back. Use the right hand to help the head back to center. It might feel good to take a couple shoulder shrugs before moving on to the other side, moving the shoulders up towards the ears and down towards the ground. When you're ready, we'll move on to the other side. You can drop the left ear over towards the left shoulder, stretching in through the right side of the neck. And try to keep the chin parallel with the ground so your head isn't looking up or down. Ensure that you're sitting up tall and the shoulders are still away from the ears. Check in with your body. Notice if any areas are still trying to tense up. Breathe that tension away on your next exhale. Imagine sending your breath into the right side of the neck, feeling the stretch deepen on every inhale and feeling the tension release on the exhales. This is a good way to stay present in the stretch. Use your left hand to help your head back to center. And again, you can take any movements you need. It might feel good to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and let them drop away towards the floor. Whatever feels good here. When you're ready, make your way to hands and knees. We'll be moving into some wrist stretches. Starting with the right hand with the palm pressing down into the mat, you can start to walk your fingers out towards the outside edges of your mat, or if you'd want to go a little deeper, you can start to walk your fingertips to face towards your knees. Try to press your palm and your fingertips and knuckles into the ground so the fingers aren't curling up. It may feel good to bring the knees in a little bit to take some pressure off the wrists. Send your breath to that sensation that you're feeling in the wrist. Notice if any other areas of your body are starting to tense up. Keep the shoulders away from the ears so the shoulder blades are rolling down the back. The face and the jaw are relaxed. Keep breathing into the sensation that you're feeling. Notice if your fingertips or knuckles are starting to come up off the ground. Keep pressing the fingertips and knuckles firmly down. Slowly come out of the pose. You can shake out the wrists if that feels good for you, or take any movements that feel good. When you're ready, we'll set up for the other side. Coming back to hands and knees. With the palm of the left hand facing towards the ground, you can start to walk the left fingertips over towards the left side of your mat. If this feels like enough of a stretch, stay here, but if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can start to walk the fingertips back towards the knees. Try to keep the palm and the fingertips and knuckles pressing in towards the mat. Notice if any of the fingers are curling up, try to keep those pressing down. And again, check in with the body. Notice if there's any tension in the neck and shoulders. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears and the shoulder blades rolling down the back. Keep the face and the jaw relaxed. Try sending the breath into the left wrist and hand, deepening the stretch on the inhales and releasing tension on every exhale. You can release the stretch. Take any movements that feel good. It might feel nice to do some wrist circles or just shake out the hands. We're going to come back to the right wrist, but this time we'll bring the top of the right hand to the mat. You can start by having your fingertips pointing towards the long edge of your mat, pressing the top of the hand, the fingertips and knuckles into the ground. If this is enough of a stretch, please stay here. You only want to be at an intensity level of about 4 or 5. If you want to go a little deeper, you can point your fingertips to face towards your knees. Notice if your shoulders are hiking up towards your ears. Try to roll the shoulder blades down and back. Relax through the jaw and face. Ensure that there's some integrity in the spine, keeping the lower back long, lower belly slightly engaged. You can try sending your breath to your wrist, stretching a little deeper on the inhales and relaxing a little bit more on every exhale. You can release the right hand. You can shake it out if that feels good. Even making some wrist circles. Moving on to the left side, you can bring the top of the left hand to the ground with the fingertips maybe starting out pointing towards the long edge of the left side of your mat. If that's enough, stay here. If you want to go a little further, you can bring the fingertips to point towards your knees. Keep pressing into the fingertips and knuckles. Sometimes the thumb will like to curl up. Keep pressing the knuckle into the ground. With even pressure in all the fingers. Relax any muscles that are still trying to work. Keep breathing into that sensation in the wrist. You can release the hold on the right hand, making little wrist circles or shaking out the hands, whatever feels good. We'll be making our way to hands and knees when you're ready. With the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Lengthen through the spine, roll the shoulder blades down and back. Maintaining the shape of the lower body with the hips stacked over the knees, start to walk the hands out in front of you. Lower down until your forehead reaches the mat. We'll be doing the prayer hand variation as it gets a little deeper into the chest and triceps. Bring the palms together to touch and start to bend at the elbows so that the hands rest behind the head. Keep rolling the shoulder blades away from the ears and let the chest be heavy, letting gravity do most of the work here. Notice if there's any tension in the jaw and in the face. Try to relax any areas that are still tensing up. When you take an inhale, try to expand the ribs in all four directions, stretching out the little muscles between the ribs. Use your breath to keep you calm. If your arms were bent, start to straighten the arms. Pressing into the hands, walk yourself up back to hands and knees. Take any little movements that feel good here. We'll be moving into thread the needle. Extend the right hand overhead, opening up the chest towards the right side of the mat. And then bring the arm underneath you, so that way you can lie down on your left shoulder and your left ear. You can use a prop here, like a block or pillow, if your head and shoulder don't quite meet the mat. With the palm facing up, press the back of the right arm into the mat, just with light pressure, helping to facilitate the twist. Make sure the hips are still stacked over the knees and they haven't moved over to one side more than the other. Try to stay relaxed through the neck and shoulders. Release any tension on your next exhale. Pressing into the left hand, start to lift the body back up to hands and knees. If you'd like, you can take a cat-cow motion here. On your inhale, lift the chin and chest. Tailbone lifts towards the sky, dropping the belly. And on the exhale, round the spine, drop the chin to the chest, round the lower back. Maybe do one or two more at your own pace. Moving on to the other side, lift the left arm up towards the sky, opening the chest up to the left side of the mat. Then bring your left arm behind your right wrist and come to lay down on your left shoulder and left ear. You can use a prop here like a pillow or a block if your head and shoulders don't meet the ground. With the palm up, the back of the arm is pressing into the mat, helping to deepen the stretch. Relax through the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. Make sure your hips are still stacked over your knees. Feel the stretch deepen as you inhale. On every exhale, try to relax a little deeper as you surrender to gravity. Start to press into the right hand to lift up off the left shoulder and come back to hands and knees. We can take another cat-cow here. So on your inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, point the tailbone up towards the sky. And on your exhale, round through the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, and round the tailbone towards the floor. And when you're ready, you can sit back on your heels, or you can sit cross-legged if it's more comfortable for you. When you're ready, we'll be moving into archer arms or cow face arms. If your shoulders are tight, you may want a strap or a belt nearby. We'll start by extending the right arm overhead, bending at the elbow so that way you can rest your palm on your back just above your spine. Next, bring your left arm behind you. You can bend at the elbow and have the back of the hand pressing to the mid-back. You can use your strap or belt here to help close the space between your hands, or you can try to grasp onto opposite hands. Try to keep the chest lifted here, relaxing through the shoulders and the jaw. Keep the ribs knitting inward. Keep the tailbone lengthening down towards the ground and lift slightly out of the lower back. Try to keep a slow, steady breath, using your breath to keep you calm. If you notice you can't take a deep breath, you may need to back out of the pose just a little bit, making sure you're at an intensity level of about 4 or 5. Gently release the grasp of the hand or the strap. You can shake out the shoulders or do any little movements that feel good to reset the shoulders. When you're ready, we'll move on to the other side. Extending the left arm above the head, bending at the elbow so the hand can rest on the back. The right arm extends down and behind your back, bending at the elbow. You can use a strap to close the space between the hands, or you can even clasp onto opposite hands. Try to stay lifted through the chest, rolling the shoulder blades down and back. Spine is long. Try to breathe into the sensation. Gently release the grasp of the hands or the strap. Again, you can take some shoulder circles or shake out the shoulders, whatever feels good today. And when you're ready, we'll be making our way to caterpillar or staff pose. Just find a comfortable seat. It may feel better on your lower back to prop your hips up with a pillow or blanket. And extend the legs out in front of you with a soft bend in the knees. Lift and lengthen through the spine, and with a flat back, start to hinge forward at the hips. Once you start feeling a stretch in the hamstrings, just let the upper body round down. You can let gravity do all the work here, letting the upper body hang heavy, or you can use some blocks to prop up the chest and the head. It's likely you'll feel this stretch all the way through the legs and up through the back and the neck. Try to relax as much as possible, letting gravity do most of the work here. So you can try to make little micro movements with the breath. On every inhale, just lengthening the spine just a little bit. And on every exhale, you can surrender to gravity just a little bit more, releasing any tension. Very slowly coming out of the pose, you can use your hands to help your upper body back up. And eventually make your way to lie down on your stomach. We'll be moving into a lying chest opener. You can extend the right arm, palm down, out to your side, so that way the arm and the body come to the shape of a T. Bring the left palm to the ground, press into that left hand and roll onto your right side. You can keep the legs straight or you can bend into the knees, whatever feels good. Try to keep pressing the shoulders down and back, and relax through the neck and shoulders, the face, the jaw, letting any tension go on the next exhale. Let gravity do most of the work here. If your legs were bent, you can start to straighten the legs. And using some strength on the left hand, slowly lower the left side of the body back down to the mat. Moving on to the other side, you can extend the left arm out to the side so that it's at a 90-degree angle with your body. And bringing the right hand beneath the right shoulder. Press into the right hand and roll onto the left side of the body, opening up through the chest. You can keep the legs straight here or you can bend at the knees. Keep pressing the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the spine long. Begin to straighten the legs if they were bent, and carefully lower yourself back onto your belly. Have 2 of your blocks close by as you roll onto your back. We'll be moving into supported fish. With your blocks on their first or second level, place the first block between the shoulder blades, keeping the long side of the block along your spine. The second block will go behind your head. Lower yourself onto the blocks. You may need to adjust the level or the spacing of the blocks. There should be no pain or pinching in the back or the neck. Arms can go however you'd like. They can be down along your sides or in the shape of a T. Let the shoulders roll back, opening up through the chest, breathing into the sensation. To come out of the pose, bring your hand behind your head to lift your head up off the block. Coming onto forearms, remove the blocks out of the way and come to lay back down on your back for Shavasana. Untuck the tailbone and roll the shoulder blades down the back, extending the arms and the legs out long. Palms are facing up, letting your feet fall open towards the sides of your mat. Try to relax any muscles that are still trying to work. Noticing any differences compared to the beginning of class. And just notice the natural rhythm of your breath. This is where I'll leave you today. I invite you to stay here for as long as you'd like. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you have any suggestions or requests for future classes, please leave those in the comments below. If you enjoyed this class today, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more free yoga classes. Namaste.